Hi, this presentation is in regards to the upcoming AICE exams. To start with our exam requirements, all AICE students must take exams. There are no exemptions. This includes for our seniors. So seniors, if you meet the attendance requirements to exempt your exams, know that those exemptions are separate from AICE exams. So everyone must show up to take their AICE exams. Each course has 2 papers with 2 different exam dates. These are referred to as a paper 1 and a paper 2. You must attend both of those exam dates. The only exceptions to this are Spanish language, which has 3 exam dates and a speaking portion, Global Perspectives, which has 1 exam date and its projects, Travel and Tourism, which has 1 exam date and its own project, and Media Studies, which has 1 exam date and its own portfolio. The scores from papers 1 and 2, or from the projects and the exam, combine to form an overall passing score of A to E, or U if it is not a passing score. And those scores are released in mid-August. So you'll receive a paper in mid-August that says if you scored an A, B, C, D, or E, which means that you received a passing score, or a U, which means that you did not receive a passing score. Seniors will receive a login in their graduation packet so that they can access their scores after graduation. All of our students who return to Leto will receive a paper the following year when those scores are released that have the scores on them. We can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that you attend all of your exams. If you miss an exam, you are put on the debt list and will have to pay $121.15. There is such thing as special consideration. Special consideration means that the day of your exam, something unforeseeable has happened. For instance, perhaps there was a car accident on your way to school, or you've woken up incredibly ill that day, something along those lines. If that happens, you will need to provide evidence to Mrs. Zim, and then you can possibly receive special consideration from Cambridge. Cambridge will consider giving you a score for the paper that you missed if you are eligible for special consideration. Special consideration does not apply to things like going on a cruise or going on a vacation to another state or another country or anything like that. So it is imperative that you are able to provide evidence for something that would grant you special consideration. Again, that's going to apply to some kind of, freak incident on the way to school, or if you're very sick that day, or whatever the situation is. Exam report times. If you have an AM exam, you'll report to your testing location as soon as you get your pass in your first period class. If you have a PM exam, you'll report to your testing location between 12:30 and 12:40. If you have extended time, you may need to report to an afternoon test a little earlier. Make sure that you read your individual pass for every exam that you take. The individual passes have specific location information and time information, and it could be different from a friend's pass, so make sure that you check that. All students will need to go to fifth lunch if you are ACE testing in the afternoon that day. So if you have a PM exam, make sure that you go to fifth lunch, regardless of if that is your normal lunch. And if you have an overlapping exam, make sure to pay attention to the time and location on your pass. There will be special testing instructions there. Passes will be handed out immediately at the start of first period as you're walking into class. As soon as you get your pass, head to your testing location. It is crucial to check in with your first period teacher and get that testing pass. Again, it has your testing time and location, which could be different from a friend's, so make sure to check in with your first period teacher. For the exams, you can bring a black or blue ballpoint pen. You may not use pencil unless it is designated on the exam, and usually it will only be designated for a specific question. For instance, if you're in AICE Environmental Management, you might get a graphing question that asks you to use pencil. It just depends on the exam. For the most part, everyone will be using a black or blue ballpoint pen. You may bring an approved calculator for thinking skills for paper 1. You may bring a highlighter. A highlighter can be used on the question booklet, not the answer booklet. That is a very important distinction. You can also bring a clear water bottle. This water bottle must be see-through, so if it's got a label on it or any kind of print, you'll need to remove that in order to have the water bottle at your desk with you. Please note that there are special rules for bathrooms. If you need to use the restroom during the exam, you will be escorted to the bathroom one at a time. Somebody will take you to a bathroom and somebody will take you back. There are lots of tests happening and there will not always be somebody right away, so please try to make sure that you use the restroom before your exam starts. Also, make sure that under no circumstances do you have your phone with you. Your phone should be completely on silent or turned off during exams. I want to be very clear. If a phone goes off, you will have to complete a witness statement, as will everyone else in the room. So if you're testing somewhere like the gym, where there are 250 people testing, all 250 people will have to fill out a witness statement. A member from Cambridge will then come and interview you about your phone going off, which could lead to all of your scores being disqualified. So please make sure that you do not have your phone on you and that your phone is completely turned off. Lastly, this is the timetable for this year's exams. There are posters around school that have these dates and times. This was also posted on the AICE Canvas page that everyone was invited to join. Feel free to take a picture of this slide. This PowerPoint will also be posted on the AICE Canvas page. If you have any questions, come see Mrs. Zim in room 220. Thank you so much for your attention.